It is in one place. It's got all of the stuff together. You don't have to develop something yourself. You don't have to have it in Excel on one side and then look up again on the other side. What do we actually mean by that? To paraphrase it, just do it. Try it out. It's easy to use. You will learn as you get going. Get it for a month, try it out, see if it works for you, and then just play with it.
How would you describe the tool to someone who have never used it?
I really like it from that point of view that it is this visual. I mean, the KMM we are using quite actively, but it is that visual representation of it, and you can later on get that overview and can say, okay, how do I look? How does it look if I take that 30,000 foot view? If I just say, okay, how does the color look, and so on. That's the nice thing of it. I mean, one can go deep in, you can do very easily, but I'm always liking that going out. I'm a passionate hiker, and I also hike quite a lot off the beaten track, so not on track. And we, for that, use topographical maps. So you've got a map, and that shows you that whole area, and you orient yourself on waypoints, hills, rivers, roads, fences, whatsoever. And if you want to go to a specific goal, you say, okay, I'll need to keep this on the left, and I need to go via this one, and I need to actually find this one to know that I'm on the way. And for me, the whole KMM, I always say it feels a bit like that. And what the appraisal does, it gives me that view of it and saying, okay, where am I at the moment? And if I want to go there, I can start planning where I go. Because also with hikers, it's like that. If we're going to go to that goal, I might take this road and you might take this road. We still both come there because my situation is different, especially if my starting point is somewhere else. I mean, it might not make sense for you because there might be not at all a way that you do it my way. And I think this is what this gives us. I mean, obviously you need to know the KMM a bit as well. I think the appraisal is quite easy to also do for people that don't know the KMM too well, because you can just go through the thing. But then to interpret it, I think there you need to know more, but that is where the professionals come in.
What are the specific features of the new tool that you like the most?
I think if I would say it's that visualization, it's that visual overview. Because previously also you could say, okay, I'm going there and I'm going there, and you could manually map out the things and so on. But it's that visual overview and that looking at it. And the second one, I think, is the ability to compare snapshots over time. I think that's the other one. And I know that you also will be adding the third thing is to have that real plan. Where am I going from here?
How would you say, what problem does KMM Appraisal tool solve?
KMM itself can be quickly overwhelming. I think you've got several maturity level, 150 general practices, values, benefits, and it can easily, especially for the newer practitioner, it can be quite overwhelming. Whereas if you start to map it out, you often find you've got practices at several levels. But if you fill it out, you will quickly start seeing that visual representation of where am I, where are the holes appearing, in which level are the holes appearing, and I can say, okay, this is where I can focus next. Where previously you had to keep that in your mind or build your own Excel spreadsheets or things like that, whereas this gives it now. I'm an engineer. I'm a very visual person, so I'm always the one that lands on the whiteboard and draws stuff, and this gives to me another tool of drawing stuff.
Would you say that it improves the productivity of doing an appraisal of the Kanban implementation overall?
I think it would, because it is in one place. It's got all of the stuff together. We've often used our own way, but that's more an overarching one when we look at values and benefits you've received, and we'll probably still do that. But once you want to go a lot deeper, it's just that it's on one place. You don't have to develop something yourself. You don't have to have it in Excel on one side and then look up again on the other side. What do we actually mean by that? Or manually go on a poster and start crossing out stuff, or put it in Miro and start putting dots on it. You can also do that visually, but it is just giving you that all-in-one tool.
What would you tell to someone who is considering trying the tool?
To paraphrase it, just do it. Try it out. It's easy to use. You will learn as you get going. As I said previously, obviously you need some prior knowledge of the KMM. It's good. It's not necessary for doing the appraisal, but it is definitely necessary for later on interpreting the appraisal. So if you don't have it, get yourself somebody who is good at that. But I would say just try it out. I mean, the cost is not that much. Get it for a month, try it out, see if it works for you, and then just play with it.
How often do you think it's important to conduct an appraisal?
I think an appraisal and so on, there's normally is certain points in time. If you're saying, for example, you do an intervention and you want to afterwards measure, or you then say half a year later, we've now done half a year of reviews and things like that, where are we standing? So it's normally at points like that. I've had a client, for example, who did an appraisal light because the tool wasn't there yet at the end of last year for their year end, because they said, we are now using it for about a year. Where are we actually standing? Things like that. Or then again for strategy planning going forward to say, okay, what are our next steps? So it's normally those inflection points that you've already got in the company, where you're saying, okay, let's do something new, or let's big reviews. You could have quarterly reviews, you could have annual reviews. So it depends on you, but I would say it's these inflection points where it makes a lot of sense.
How much time does it typically take to complete an appraisal with the tool compared to without it?
Let me say so. I don't think, I mean, if I would put a poster against the wall and put red dots against it, it's the same time. The big thing is the one against the wall is just a one-time snapshot. The one in the tool gives you the ability, yes, it does give you the ability to click through and so on, but that often makes the time longer because you read it up, but you are much more accurate. So I would say probably even the tool makes it, the first one, it makes longer, but it makes it more accurate. But if you later on go, you've got the possibility to compare, you've got the possibility to automatically have your previous snapshots, things like that. And I think that is the real power of it. So, I mean, if you've got a consultant, they would have had an Excel spreadsheet, or they would have had the poster and would have guided you through it. So that is not the biggest differentiator. The biggest differentiator is really to have it in that tool and have the history and be able to compare your own team over time, but also different teams. Again, this is a dangerous thing as well. I've seen a lot of clients who compare between each other in the team and so on, which you shouldn't be doing, because you quite easily then get to compare apples with pears, because you can't say you are maturity level 2, I'm maturity level 1, and this is the one is better than the other, because we might need different things. So it is also a danger in it, but I think it definitely helps with that. As I always say, don't use it blindly, use it with somebody who really looks at it, or get into the Kanban maturity model. It is an addition to it, it's not a replacement.
Who do you think should be using this tool?
I think it's the internal change agents. As I said, we've had a client where the team lead really looked at it and said, okay, where are we standing now? It's the agile coaches internally that have to show, okay, where are we going? How are we progressing? And that have to show progress, but also have to then again plan with teams. So it's often these types of people who are responsible for the Kanban implementation in their organization. They would be the ones who need it, and whether that's external or internal doesn't matter.